I feel like as a collective, we no longer have the energy anymore to do anything other or be and feel anything other than who we are. And this means no longer masking that everything is okay. Pretending to be okay while suffering in silence is one of the most isolating experiences that there is. And I can no longer give energy to people who don't want to give it back to me. And I feel like you don't get bonus points for suffering in silence with a smile. You know, this "I'm just too tired" is a lie. Pretending is easier than admitting and confronting that something is wrong. So why am I like this? I can't continue to be a cheerful disaster in my life. And I think all of this comes from toxic positivity and trying to appease people with putting on a mask of joy, even though I don't feel this way at all. Happiness is like a sugar rush anyways, and contentment should be the goal. Stability and consistency should be the goal. But happiness for happiness' sake is not worth it. Why am I still hurt while they're having fun? As much as I put on a brave face, I'm also afraid of actually feeling joy. Because whenever I get my hopes up, something bad happens and I don't want to mask anymore. Not that I was any good at it in the first place. I've had struggles with my mental health for as long as I can remember. There have been moments where I almost ended my life. There are still moments, even now, when every coping skill I've ever built doesn't help anymore. And I know that I need professional help, but right now I can't afford it. So your engagement on these videos could end up saving my life at a certain point. And I think these people that purport that you should just focus on the bright side and you should just be positive vibes only type, these type people, you know, they don't understand that it's not depression if your life is depressing. It's not anxiety if there are things in your life that are putting you on edge. And when you look at your life objectively, there's no way out. The problem is that your life is a mess, not that your mental health is fucked up. And how can you manage your life in order to have purpose and meaning? That's the operative question. We all want purpose and meaning in our life at the end of the day, and it's hard to get these things when we're being forced to put on a fake mask and fake every single thing. And I don't think anyone understands that the amount of strength that it takes to continue to exist with such a intense pain cannot be understated. So I give myself credit for the strength and bravery that no one else can see, and I suggest that you guys do the same. And I hate when the peace that I used to take for granted becomes such a distant memory that I can't bring it to mind at all. I have thought that everyone has it easier than me for a long time. I feel behind because of the conditions of my environment. I am a plant that has been rooted in the wrong conditions. I'm in a suboptimal environment, and some plants that thrive in the desert would die in the rainforest. And I'm not saying that this environment was so harsh that growth was impossible, but it's not the right place for me, and I want to find that place where I belong. We have to allow ourselves to feel pain instead of grinning and bearing it, and the pressure to display only positive emotions is toxic positivity. Negative emotions are part of the palette of human emotions and experience. Saying look on the bright side and that everything happens for a reason is so invalidating that's actually crazy. Good vibes only culture is just an invitation to pretend and to lie. Fake optimism often gets you farther than honesty. We're being gaslit by optimists at this point, guys, especially at work. Reality contains both positive and negative. Nullifying negativity is gaslighting. Toxic positivity is to deny the dark side. It causes people to doubt what is real because negativity is part of reality. So when you deny negativity, you're basically delusioning yourself into thinking that there's no such thing as anything else. So anyway, guys, my name is Shelby. I exist and I make stuff. If you're new here, I talk about all sorts of things from mental health to art to chronic illness to being unemployed and single. And if you want to support this channel, please subscribe. Every subscription helps. And click the notification bell. Do all the usual things. You can even leave a super thanks. And all that great stuff that you guys like to do. And of course, you can buy me a coffee, check out my Shopify, and follow me on Instagram to look at my artwork if you're interested in that. All of those links are below. So anyway, telling someone to just be grateful simply because they don't live in Gaza is bullshit. It doesn't affect me what's going on in the Middle East. At the end of the day, starving kids are not my problem. Pretending like everything is fine so that my family and friends don't worry, even though they should be worrying about me, is a form of lying to yourself. How does it help me that someone out there has it worse? Everything happens for a reason is trash. I've never believed it, and I never will. The law of attraction is also complete bullshit. Absolute bullshit. You only attract what you are is a lie. Don't worry, be happy is a way to die young. Accurate thinking is better than positive thinking. Believing and manifesting is a form of victim blaming because you believe that you are attracting, that they are attracting the reality. Like, do children of abuse attract their reality? I don't think so. Do cancer victims attract their reality? No. It comes down to luck and privilege. Masking inner turmoil with fake happiness can lead to getting sick and increases inflammation in the body. So it's very important to express yourself. Then there's the classic God gives his strongest battles to his strongest soldiers, which is absolute trash because none of us signed up for the war. It's just more proof that God is a social construct that doesn't actually exist anyways. And when I come to you with a problem, or when someone comes to you with a problem, all I need is encouragement. I don't need to think on the bright side. Maybe starving kids should just smile more, which is obviously stupid and invalidating statement, but you get the idea. This is kind of what we're talking about when it comes to toxic positivity. Having to mask and put on a face that everything is okay is the most exhausting thing in the universe. If I'm complaining, let me. Masking dysfunction is not my style, and sometimes things just suck. Life is bullshit. Positive thinking never fixes a thing. The world doesn't work just by rug sweeping the problem. Life is full of real shit like poverty, systemic oppression, abuse, illness, and war. None of these people attracted it to themselves, you guys. I'm so sick and tired of everyone saying that people are attracting negativity, attracting car crashes, for Christ's sake. It's just ridiculous. A blindly positive mindset and imposing it onto other people is a form of emotional violence, in my opinion. Now, you may be saying, Shelby, no one's getting smacked upside the head, no one's getting beaten, but at the same time, when you chronically invalidate someone's reality and minimize their pain, they're left to just stew in those emotions, and a lot of times that becomes a physical ailment, and it's awful that we do this to people. Toxic positivity sucks the energy out of a room. It creates a culture of lies and walking on eggshells. Sometimes you need to realize that your stress and expression is the best thing you can do for your depression. To release your stress, that is. I'm sorry. Then there's this idea that we have a victim mindset simply because we complain that we're going through shit. This only cultivates self-blame. Seeing the good in everyone is a way to make an excuse for abusive behavior. What if someone was kicking your ass and beating you up and bullying you, and you go to your parents and the first thing that they say is, well, just try to understand that he has something going on at home. Try to understand that he has good qualities too. It's like, it doesn't matter what his good qualities are if his negative qualities are overshadowing the positive ones. Your safety should be your first priority. No one should expect you to empathize with someone that is harming you. I've literally had people who said I attracted my autoimmune disease because I was being too negative, when in reality it was my environment and I had no control over that because I was a kid. So again, this victim blaming thing when it comes to toxic positivity is spiritual manipulation. And I think Christianity in particular blames people for having a lack of faith when tragedy strikes. And we try to remove the suffering so it doesn't have to be dealt with. Happiness is not a choice. It's a chemical and situational emotion that can only be felt in certain circumstances, and we shouldn't be shamed for not being able to be a beacon of hope and light 24/7. I hate when people say you choose to be happy. You don't choose to be happy. Happiness is not a choice. The human experience is a balance of joy and sorrow. We shouldn't blame ourselves for situations in our life that are outside of our control. Positivity is weaponized against people in tragedy, gaslighting and shaming them into silence. As many of you know, I have been unemployed for several months, and I admit that I blame myself, but through rebuking positivity, I give myself grace and accept my feelings for what they are. Positivity is honestly a delusion. The only way out is through, but not everyone makes it to the other side. The truth of the matter is that you could be going through hell right now, and it might actually kill you. That's the reality of the situation. It might irreparably damage your life, and there's nothing you can really do about it. To be honest with you, it's not always negative to be honest. Certain situations and outcomes are just inherently negative. They carry a negative charge, and no amount of reframing will make the situation okay. It's dishonest to be positive all of the time. A positive outlook is a lie. It won't cure anything, and don't compare one person's trauma to another person's trauma or one person's situation to another situation. I'm not going to stunt my growth anymore by invalidating my negative emotions, and neither should you. Life is shit, and that's the reality. Jesus is not coming to save you until you die. Batman isn't coming to save you while you're alive. And when you say no at work, it's called pushback and insubordination, and I really think it's just common sense to set boundaries. But boundaries can get you fired. Toxic work culture often looks like having to have a smile on your face all the time and pretend that nothing is wrong and to toe the party line no matter what. Being too positive can be a bad thing, especially when it's a form of denial and passive aggression and spiritual bypassing. Anyone who tells you not to worry is simply dismissing you and doesn't want to hold space for you. Never having anything negative to say is such bullshit. Social media highlight reel culture only makes this worse. We only see the good times, and I hope to reverse some of that through this channel. Again, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like and do all that stuff. We talk about negative stuff here. This is not a bright light, hope, and positivity channel. We talk about difficult times and going through them and how to go through them together, I guess. People who talk about raising your vibration are usually very attractive and very young, and what works for them is not going to work for us. I personally am giving myself permission to experience negative emotions, and I'm going to do it without guilt or thinking that there's something wrong with me for feeling this way. If you've been harmed by toxic positivity, I want you to leave a comment below and embrace disillusionment, because shit happens in life, and life is shit. Happiness is unrealistic in this day and age. If you're going through grief, illness, poverty, or abuse, give yourself grace for not being able to change it. Give yourself grace for going through it. Give yourself congratulations that you woke up another day to fight and didn't give up today. Fake smiles don't fix real problems. Putting gold leaf on dog shit doesn't make what's underneath the surface any different. Life isn't perfect, and being told that at least you have 2 arms and 2 legs and that others have it worse is denial, and it's harmful. It's impossible to be yourself around fair weather friends. Don't bypass the reality of pain in the moment. Your pain is real and it matters. Even if there are no physical symptoms, it is still real. And lying about your problems doesn't make the problems go away, so don't ignore real problems in your life. Allow the full spectrum of human emotion. Don't glamorize the grind. Positive vibes only is emotional immaturity, and it's emotional manipulation. Positivity, in all honesty, is a privilege. Mindset work is a privilege. If you are in survival mode, it is so harmful to be told to change your mindset. Don't dismiss yourself anymore. It's okay to not be okay. And at the end of the day, that's what I want you guys to remember, is that I think that this month is Men's Mental Health Month or something. And I think that it's really important for all of us to come together and remember that this life is very difficult. And the fact that we're being pressured to mask and pretend to be happy and play these roles that we never even asked to do in this life that we never even asked to have is not fair. So be authentically unhappy. Make time in your life if you have to mask, and masking is part of your survival at this point. Make time in your life to be miserable. I'm serious. Make time in your life to express your negativity in a safe place. A lot of us that grew up in more religious areas don't have this valve, I guess you could say, to release our negative emotions so easily, and a lot of us don't have a safe place to do that, and this channel for me has been my safe place to express my emotions. And you kind of have to think outside of the box sometimes when it comes to finding outlets for your negativity, because just sitting with it and allowing it to remain in your body without releasing it is just a bad idea. And there's some people that go their whole lives just pretending that everything is okay while they're screaming internally underneath the surface, when in reality they want to be throwing themselves on the floor and having a complete tantrum. And I know that that's not always appropriate, but I'm really looking into somatic therapies. I'm looking into different sorts of therapies, EMDR, stuff like that, to release some of my negativity that's inside my body. Because they say the body keeps the score, and it's important to acknowledge our negativity because it's part of what makes us human. Anyway, I'm really happy that you guys tuned in today. I would love to hear your story about toxic positivity down below. If you've ever been invalidated by a chronic optimist or someone that is toxically optimistic, please let me know down below. I know a lot of us millennials grew up with parents that probably invalidated us quite a bit. And if I could give the future generation one thing, it would be to admit that I'm wrong and that we don't know what you know. And I would want the future generations to know that I can make mistakes too. And I wish that we had been given that sort of grace collectively by our parents' generation. But most of us are left shouldering the burden of blame onto ourselves and left pretending to be happy when we are absolutely not happy at all. So with that, I wanted to say thank you again. Check out all my links, of course. You can support this channel all the usual ways. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.